and welcome back to My Academic Planning System, or MAPS for short, the comprehensive course planning platform that allows students to figure out where they are in their college journey and where they want to go. It features many tools that aid them in this process, including a sophisticated concentration search, a course catalog with a search along with it as well, concentration request form, a academic status that shows students what they have accomplished thus far, and how much of their goals they have accomplished, a platform for planning the upcoming semester, and a platform to plan the rest of their time at college. Of course, some of these features are only available to students or site administrators, and so a Google authentication login is used for that purpose. In this video, we're going to highlight the upgrades and updates that we have made to this program since last you saw it. So we hope you enjoy.
Hello, this is Benjamin Friedman with Login, and today I'll show you how you can log into our website, Maps. To start, I put it on a fresh window incognito tab just to show that signed in or not, you could get to our website. So let's put in the localhost server URL and get to the front page or the login page of our website. Unlike last time where in Postman we had to simulate logging into Google using a mock net ID and a mock ID token to identify the Google account, this time we're going to do it for real using the Google authentication system. I'm going to show you case 2 first before case 1, case 2 being failed authentication before case 1 successful authentication. So if you'll notice, we click this button, redirects us to Google sign-in. I'm going to put in my Rutgers email, click next, and that'll land us at Rutgers login as it should for a Rutgers email. I'm going to put in my net ID and an intentionally wrong password, and as you'll notice, it doesn't work. Invalid credentials. However, if I put in my net ID again, but put in my correct password, we switch over to case 1, successful authentication. This will redirect us to Duo like any Rutgers system would. And so after getting through Duo, we will then confirm that this is the email we want to sign in with, and boom, we are on the main page, the home page of our website Maps, where you can go ahead and access any other page, like for your plan, for example, you can load it up. And obviously the idea is signing in would personalize this experience for whoever does sign in.
Welcome to Concentration Search. To start, I overhauled the UI to be much more aesthetically pleasing and user-friendly, but more importantly, as to your recommendation, I also completely redesigned how I actually query Firebase, so that rather than the user getting and retrieving every document from the database, it actually only queries based off of the title field in every document. So initially it retrieves just that field from every document and finds concentrations that either match or include that input query, and then from there it then does a second retrieval of the actual full documents of those that match or include that input query, like so. If I do that, and then also, so here we have both of the full documents on display. It's very user-friendly and easy to follow. You can filter down based off of degree type or what school or both. But in this case, it's not actually pulling from the server anymore, because I figured for security reasons you wouldn't want to constantly be calling the server. So in this instance, this is all being done actually client side and managed through the UI. Now, to demonstrate what happens, you can, of course, just query for whatever you want, and it will retrieve a status code of 200. If it cannot find what you're looking for, you get an error code of 204. Here, however, I have a much more user-friendly, there are no concentrations that match that search. And the same goes for if you couldn't connect to the database, it would give you a 500 error. And so if you didn't send an input at all, you would get a 400 error, like so. Yeah. Now, as for the view concentration itself, let me actually grab it just in case. Yeah, so view concentration works pretty much the same way. Oh wait, oops, sorry. Except you have to obviously have the actual concentration, but it displays everything here with 200 OK. If it can't, it gives you a different an error response. Now, overall, I think this is a much bigger improvement with more conscientious design, robust UI that is feature-rich, and addresses a lot of the issues that were in the original demo.
Hello and welcome to Course Catalog. There are 3 different functions that are supported by Course Catalog. First is all, which will return all of the courses currently within the course catalog. You can search for more specific courses by narrowing it down. Here we can search for courses that have the word data in its name, and it returns all of the courses that has data somewhere within its name. You can do this for something such as calculus, and we now have all of the courses that have calc within its name. And we can also get more information about any specific course by simply putting the course ID after the course catalog. For example, here's like the full course of data structures with all of its information. And here's a different course. Try it, and that's multivariable calculus, and we just see all of the information related to that course.
For a concentration request, students will first need to navigate to this form, which can be located in their drop-down menu. After reaching this form, they would then fill out their information with their name, net ID. They would then select the school, in this case School of Engineering. Then they would select their major and then enter their grad year. After that, you'll click submit, and then you would see your request has been submitted and is pending approval. After submitting your request, it is down to the administrator to approve or deny your request. Here on the administrator page, you can see all the pending requests. Now, over here to the right, you can see an approve and deny button. If the administrator would like to deny the request, they would have to submit a reason for denial. If not, they would approve the request, and then they would be greeted with this: request approved. And now the major has been given to the person who submitted the form.
Hello, my name is Aditya Rajesh, and this is the academic status section of the video. So last time I walked you through what the academic status of a student entailed. Just to briefly summarize it, it's the student's GPA, the student's academic standing at the university, the student's completed courses, their currently enrolled courses, and their future courses that they have listed in their plan, in their future plan. So I've already walked you through the code here, but in the first product demo. But something that I did want to touch upon is that in Postman, as we can see now, in the first demo, we used a post method to post the information of the student's net ID rather. But now, as you can see here, that we're actually using a GET request, which is much more aligned with what we want to do with the View Academic Status section. But without being said, we don't need to look at the Postman stuff anymore because we now have a front end. So this is the landing page for the My Academic Planning system. we have all of our different stuff here, including view academic status. So if you just click on view academic status, it takes you here, and it allows you to input the net ID of yourself. This is important because when you're an administrator, you can't just assume that you only have one student. You might want to search up multiple net IDs. But since we're just running this as a student, we can just put in our own. And as you can see here, it brings up the same student GPA as we did in Postman. Shows the warning status. It shows his completed courses. It shows he's not currently enrolled in any courses, and this is how we catch stuff like this, because even though there's no courses listed in the database for the student, the server does not crash. We just handle the missing information by reporting to the user. There's no documents found. And then his future courses that he's added to his plan are all listed right here. If we, for instance, put in a random net ID, it will just say error, no data available, because there's no data available. The server doesn't crash. It just tells the user it's not a valid net ID. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Hello, my name is Tom Simon, and me and my partner Omar were working on setting up a schedule for a future semester. We imported two modules, the Firestore to get the information from the Firebase database. Then we got the Get Course module to get information from the course code file. Then we created a class to manage all the information we need to create the schedule. We have the constructor call. We have two functions to validate to make sure the both net ID and course ID is valid. We go on to the next function, which is like get the course and section information. We try to, and verify and see if it's valid. So taking these information, this leads to our next function, which is the add course to schedule, which, we take our, the course information, schedule, and section information, and the semester we're adding it to, and adding the course to the schedule. And, we want to save the updated schedule, so we have this function to save the schedule. And then we continue on to the view schedule function, where, if we input our net ID and semester, we're able to get the schedule we created. So taking all this information, if we want to acquire, and be able to do these actions, we have the help of endpoints, where we set up, different endpoints to be able to request the system to allow us to create these, make these requests, like adding, for starters, we, to view the schedule, we would send a get request. To add a course to the schedule, we would send a post request, and in order to save the schedule, we would send a put request. Unfortunately, we weren't able to implement in Postman, as we tried to do the put request and we had the URL, and unfortunately we weren't able to be able to save the schedule. I appreciate it, and thank you for having us.
Welcome to the 4-year plan section, where a student can create a plan for their next 4 years of college and perform various operations on it. The 4-year plan is a part of MAPS that requires the student to be logged in. As such, before we perform any function, we verified the authentication token that we received at login in order to ensure that it is in fact and indeed a valid student that is using this part of the program. And so I'm going to now demo that here. Obviously, we've got the server running. Here I just have in the code, you see how we append the authentication token to any request that is made to the server from the 4-year plan. And then in each function, it is checked as is appropriate. I'm currently using a hard-coded token for this demo for demonstration purposes. So this is currently a valid authentication token. It represents the student with a net ID of ACH127. And so when we go to the four-year plan section, we see that things verify. The student is allowed to look at the four-year plan. In the console over here, we can see the credentials of this token. We see that the email has in fact been verified for this user. When we perform any task, the token is once again validated. For an example, if I were to choose to validate this plan according to the concentration of 03267, we see that in addition to successfully validating, we also have done yet another authentication check in addition to the one that we did previously, because only valid students are allowed to use this feature. This time we are going to try running with an invalid authentication token, and so we see that when we try to access the four-year plan, we get an error, and it says status code 401, which is the unauthorized.
So now let's take a look at a general flow that a user can do using their front end and seeing everything visually. So first, the user can go onto the website. He sees his entire plan. It's organized into all the different semesters, and this corresponds to sending the view plan function to the server. Once he can see everything, he can, go around, things are hovering, and he can validate his function. He can enter the concentration ID and send a validation request, which is essentially going to validate his plan according to that concentration. We can see that there are green courses and red courses. Green courses correspond to courses that are being used to fulfill a concentration, and red is being used, aren't being used. If we want more information, we could go to view validation information, and we can see that for residency requirements, it's fulfilled. There's no more credits missing. And for concentration, we are missing course 135, and we are not using 379 for the concentration. In terms of prereqs and coreqs, there's a business policy that states that prereqs must be in the semester before, and coreqs must be in the same semester. So we can see that 233, 125, 121 all has 111 as a prereq listed, but it's not found, and 111 and 112 must be coreqs, and we see that 136 doesn't have 135, which is the missing course in the plan. So we can go back to our plan, and we can click on the course. We can remove this course from the plan because we don't need it. We can that 136, we needed 135 as the prereq, so we can go back into the validation information, validation info, add it to the semester before, and see that it's successfully added to the plan. And we also know that we're missing that 111 needs to be a prereq with 112, so we can move it to the freshman fall semester. And now we can see our updated plan. We can revalidate to check that we fulfilled our requirements, that we fixed everything. We can see that now everything is green. When we click view validation info, we see that everything is being fulfilled. Prereqs, concentration, and residency. Now, if we want to optimize a plan, we don't really like our plan, we want to move things around, we can choose quickest, we can choose balanced. We can select courses that are stable, that aren't going to be moved during optimization. Such as 123 and 331, and we can click optimize. In this case, we get back a plan, and just for the sake of showing different types of things, we can show what it's like to optimize something else. So let's say we're going to be optimizing quickest. We're going to be pushing all the courses as much as we can per semester, so we graduate as early as possible. And we see that we get a plan, and we can either keep our old plan or save the new one. So we're going to click save, and we're going to see the updated semester. And this is just the general flow of what a user could do in the four-year plan section of MAPS.